Has the University of Western Australia caved to anti-free speech activists? Let's have a look. Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me for this episode of Heiser Says. I'd like to talk about what's happened at UWA, University in Perth, on the western side of Australia. One of the Liberalist members on the Facebook group I'm part of shared the media announcement that the university was backing down from hosting an event. Let's have a look at this article from Wednesday, when they were actually going to host the event. Now, UWA was criticised for the Australian Family Association talk by transgender sceptic Dr. Quentin Van Meter. So he's a professional that works in this industry. He's not a skeptic. Notice how the way they're framing this article. Just in the title itself, they're poisoning the well. They're creating a doubt in your mind. Oh, he's a skeptic. Isn't that bad? He's not even a professional. Oh, because most people will read that and they'll read this. That's all they'll read. That's what 90% of the people will get their opinion from. So the University of Western Australia has defended its decision to allow a talk on its campus by an American pediatrician who has argued transgender people are mentally ill. So you have to just realize that most people will get their opinion on that and that. Now, oh no, transgender people are mentally ill. That sounds wrong. That sounds mean. How can we possibly have that? Now, transgender people suffer from a condition called gender dysphoria, and the American Psychiatric Association permits a diagnosis of gender dysphoria if the criteria of the DSM-5 are met. Now, this is directly taken, copy and pasted from Wikipedia. So the DSM-5 states that at least 2 of the following criteria for gender dysphoria must be experienced for at least 6 months duration in adolescents or adults for diagnosis. Now, it's the American Psychiatric Association. This is an organization with over 37,000 members. The DSM-5 is a respected manual for the assessment of psychiatric conditions. There has to be a period of time, duration, for adolescence or adulthood for the diagnosis to be accepted. You can't go and get a blood test that can say you're transgender. You can't. You need to experience these things for a period of 6 months. Let's have a read of some of them. A strong desire to be of a gender other than one's assigned gender. A strong desire to be treated as a gender other than one's assigned gender. A significant incongruence between one's experienced or expressed gender and one's sexual characteristics. A strong desire for the sexual characteristics of a gender other than one's assigned gender. A strong desire to be rid of one's sexual characteristics due to incongruence with one's experienced or expressed gender. A strong conviction that one has the typical reactions and feelings of a gender other than one's assigned gender. In addition, the condition must be associated with clinically significant distress or impairment. Okay, so it is a mental illness according to this diagnosis, one could argue. So they're poisoning the well. It's a psychiatric problem that has to be treated. And I'm not arguing that, but there you go. There's the first 2 things that they've said. So it comes after UWA's social media pages were inundated with protests and a petition calling for the event to be cancelled. Secured more than 5,000 signatures in a matter of days. Oh, well, these people are organized. They don't want to hear counter arguments, or they don't want to discuss these things. What really surprises me is that if people have issue with what he's saying, they should petition the university to ensure a platform is provided where they can be a debate, or they can attend. There can be so many certain seats set aside for people that can't afford to attend, or that are freely to attend, to ask questions, to participate. And that can be recorded and kept on the record, and that can add value. It can challenge. The event booked for Friday evening is being hosted by the Conservative Australian Family Association and is set to feature a talk given by Dr. Quentin Van Meter. Dr. Van Meter is president of the American College of Pediatricians, a small conservative group known for its opposition to gay marriage, gender reassignment, premarital sex, and abortion. Ooh, wow, evils, conservatives, bad. He has regularly denied proven science surrounding transgender people. Yeah, well, I'd like to see evidence of that in this article, instead saying they are simply delusional. The ACP is listed as a hate group by the US non-for-profit Southern Poverty Law Center due to its views on LGBTI people. Hate group. Wow, they must be really bad. How could UWA dare to allow them? Let's have a look at the Southern Poverty Law Center, because they sound all posh and professional, but they have lost their credibility. And here's an article from the Washington Post. So, after years of smearing good people with false charges of bigotry, the Southern Poverty Law Center has finally been held to account. A former Islamic radical named Majid Nawaz sued the center for including him in its bogus field guides to anti-Muslim extremists. And this week, the SPLC agreed to pay him $3.375 million settlement and issued a public apology. The SPLC is a once-storied organization that did important work filing civil rights lawsuits against the Ku Klux Klan in the 1970s, but it has become a caricature of itself, labeling virtually anyone who does not fall in line with its left-wing ideology an extremist or a hate group. Nawaz is a case in point, since abandoning Islamic radicalism, he has advised 3 British prime ministers and created the Quilliam Foundation to fight extremism. He is not anti-Muslim, he is a Muslim and has argued that Islam is a religion of peace. So how did he end up in the SPLC pseudo-guide to anti-Islamic bigots? His crime, apparently, is that he has become a leading critic of radical Islamist ideology he once embraced. So this guy is a critic of radical Islam. So he's had an about face. He said, no, well, he's changed his opinion. And SPLC added him to this list, and now they've been forced to pay him $3.3 million. Now, I'll link to this article below if you want to read all of it, but there's just a bit here in the end. Unfortunately, the settlement that the SPLC reached with Nawaz is not likely to deter it from smearing others. $3.4 million is a drop in the bucket. And remember, this is US money. They raised $132 between November 2016 and October 2017, and had $477 million endowment, including $92 million in offshore accounts. So, you know, we can question the opinion of the SPLC. You know, I can't accept that they're a hate group just based on their position, because I've just seen examples there where they've been forced to pay out millions of dollars for incorrectly labeling someone. So I'll just fix this article for you. Who wrote this, by the way? James, I'll fix it for you. We'll just cross that out. You know, or you can maybe look at the SPLC and share with your readers some of the things that they've gotten up to. The university backs freedom of expression. So in an email to all staff and students, Vice Chancellor Dawn Freshwater said the university's executive was only made aware yesterday that one of its venues had accepted the booking. Professor Freshwater said, while the views of speakers at the event, particularly with respect to transgender people, were at odds with UWA's values, it would not deny them use of the venue. Fantastic. Yay. Good. Free speech, allowing discussion, debate at university, allowing a public forum. Yeah, didn't last. The university considers the cancellation of the AFA event would create an undesirable precedent for the exclusion of objectionable views from the campus, she said. Wow. There is an ongoing task to be undertaken within the university about the development of workable principles which strike a balance between the values of respect for human dignity on the one hand and freedom of opinion and expression on the other. reading this now, knowing that what I'm going to show you in a minute, that she's cancelled the event, really makes me lose a lot of respect for this professional. Professor Freshwater said that while UWA understood the concerns of those protesting, there was no resolution which could satisfy all interests. The university acknowledges the deeply held concerns of those who do not wish this event to proceed. If you have issues with what he's saying, argue him in public. Don't deplatform him. I don't understand. Maybe these people just aren't smart enough to argue. I mean, well look at the picture here. I mean, look at them. You know, maybe they're just not smart enough to argue. Could that be it? They can't debate? Could that be it? Maybe. You tell me. UWA hiding behind the skirt of free speech. So the guild. So the student guild. But the decision to allow the event to go ahead was criticized by the student guild and those behind the petition. I remember back when I went to university, and this is going to be a personal story, we were required to join the guild. And as a student, coughing up with like $100, $200 a semester was painful. And you know what they'd do? They would hold your grades if you refuse to pay. They would hold your grades, so you'd have to pay to get it. And then you'd see like a bunch of lefties going to do some stupid protest and get all these grants from the guild to do all that type of stuff. You know, I actually started up an organization, or took over an organization and grew it at the university. And we were only part of the guild for one reason, because we could get a bank account. And we were completely self-funded. I couldn't be bothered doing any of their bullshit paperwork to get money. We actually made our own money running events. We were profitable. Good Lord. Wow. So, you know, capitalist managing to run profitable events. What the university has done is in direct contravening, I'll just paraphrase, of their own values and standards, hiding behind the skirts of free speech, when actually it's just downright embarrassing, deeply concerning, and upsetting. Oh, well, come on. Okay, Megan. You know, I wonder what your degree's in. There's a difference between fostering a political debate and discussion, which is what universities are about, and purporting pseudoscience not rooted in fact, which tries to deny the existence of a group of people. Oh, good Lord. She's just... I would be interested to hear what I'll link to one of his talks. I'd be interested to hear what he has to say, because I'm not hearing any science coming out of the left. You look at the Safe Schools program, a lot of what they're saying is not based on science. You've got male, you've got female, then you have intersex. That's it. There's the three people. It comes down to your genetic chromosomal level. If you have a psychological issue or psychiatric issue where you are suffering from dysphoria, that is a medical issue that has to be treated. It's not like Tumblr nutcases where you can change your gender every day, or you can be pangender, all this other stuff. No, that's not medically correct. Okay, there's male, female, intersex. Some people have more than the normal number of chromosomes. Okay, some people have a psychiatric issue that the DSM-5 has a system in place to allow you to assess. That. Yeah, anyway. The Guild calls on UWA's executive to reconsider its discussion, and if it allowed the event to go ahead, to not keep any payment it received from the AFA. Of course, you guys don't believe in money. By asking them not to hold the event on campus is by no means shutting down free speech. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. They're allowed to have those opinions. Yes, but they're just not allowed to talk at your university about them. Wow, you don't get it. You're claiming ownership of this space, and no one who disagrees with you is allowed to talk. Human rights group deeply disappointed. Curtin University Center for Human Rights Education also expressed its disappointment. We are completely confused by UWA doing this, given its remarkable record of integrating the full humanity of transgender people into its policies of inclusion and recognition. I wonder how many normal, non-politically active transgender people give a shit. I would really be interested to see. You know, the ones who just want to go to uni, get their degree, and live their normal bloody lives. Because I bet you you got a small core group of these people who are rooted in the student guild that jump on this for political points and brownie points to actually give them something to do. The balance between values of respect for human dignity on the one hand and freedom of opinion and expression on the other can never follow a deficit model. In this sense, to host a group that is actually bringing into question the essential existence of transgender people through ignorance and hate, masked through rational thought, is completely antithetical to what we have thought UWA stood for as an institution. Then debate that in public. Debate that in public. The CRHE said the move was at odds with UWA's track record as a top 5 rate employer for LGBTI inclusion. Oh, well, you know, who cares? Who cares? That's just identity politics. That's got absolutely nothing of significance for the caliber of a university as a research body, as a place to expand knowledge for humanity. That's meaningless. You know, we're deeply disappointed and dismayed. Okay, so it's a sad week, UWA, and its reputation as a human rights and social impact leader. Okay, so we've had a look at that. I believe I've been able to put an argument that the SPLC credibility it can be questioned, and this group, labeling this group as a hate group, can be questioned. The fact that they're saying it's a mental illness, when you look at the definition of gender dysphoria, it is a mental illness. It is something that can be treated by the APA's definition under DSM-5. So who were they bringing there? Who was coming? So there's Dr. Quentin Van Meter, the transgender movement, its origins, and how social theory is trumping science. Okay, now we're seeing this a lot coming out from the left, where they are becoming quite anti-science. You can just see the outrage at what happened to Molyneux and Southern's tour here in Australia, where they've just dehumanized their opponent. They do not even want to dialogue anymore. They don't even want them to come onto their campus to talk anymore. So he's a pediatric endocrinologist. After 20 years in the 20-year career in the Navy Medical Corps, Dr. Van Meter joined the Fayette Medical Clinic as a pediatrician and pediatric endocrinologist, and then developed his own full-time endocrine practice. He's also a clinical associate professor of pediatrics at both the Emory University and the Morehouse School of Medicine. Okay, so he's not a crackpot. He's a professional with years or decades of experience. And then here, the launch of Patrick Byrne's book, Transgender, The Implications for Law, Man, Women, Schools, Sports, Politics, and Democracy. The national president of the National Civic Council, holding degrees in arts education, Patrick Byrne, is a foremost analyst and writer in the areas of economics. So why do they not want to talk about these things? This is something that they should be interested in. So who's cheering that this has ended? Who's cheering that this has ended? The trans folk and UWA. So UWA has released a statement cancelling the Australian Family Association's event due to the organisation not complying with the university's request to complete a more comprehensive risk management plan. Although we are pleased that the event won't be going ahead, we're disappointed as it has been cancelled on a technicality rather than principle. So I don't know why you guys don't want to engage in this discussion, particularly when they're launching a book about the implications of law for men, women, schools, sports, politics, and democracy. If you disagree with what they have to say, this is a fantastic opportunity for you to get in front of a group of people that may not even have met any transgender people. It'll give you a national stage, but instead you shut down the talk. You're missing an opportunity here. I don't understand. So that's where I really call into question the motives of this. It feels more political. So let's have a look at UWA's statement. So in reference to the Australian Family Association event, which was scheduled to be hosted on the UWA campus on Friday the 17th, at which Dr. Quentin Van Meter and Mr. Patrick Byrne were to speak. I think his book was being launched, or is he speaking as well? The booking has been voided due to non-compliance with UWA's venue hire policy. Now, does it just seem convenient that they've got this way to void it? I remember when I was a student, we had to run events at universities. Just the BS you have to jump through to host these events. It's just paperwork. It's just pointless paperwork. And you would think the university would have the capacity to do this quite easily. Yeah. As part of event due diligence, the university campus management team undertook a campus safety review on the event. We have been advised the risks surrounding the event has been elevated to a higher level, which mandates a more robust event management plan. Okay, so because external parties have elevated the risk, they're putting more work on the people who are booking the venue. Scott out on the Periscope. I have to watch that later. In line with this, the private event organisers were requested to comply with the university's conditions of hire, including the provision of a risk assessment and detailed event management plan which addressed issues of safety for the event. The event hirers were instructed to provide this information by 5 p.m. on the day prior to the event to ensure that the university was able to be confident that the event did not pose a safety risk consistent with the terms of hire. I bet you they gave them no time. Wait, so the event is meant to be hosted today, and they wanted it on Thursday, and Wednesday they were in the paper saying that the event was going ahead. They gave them no time. They gave him no bloody time. I guarantee you they piled a shitload of paperwork on him with no time to do it. Maybe they had to hire new security. Maybe they had to do this. Maybe they had to do that, but they didn't have the capacity to do it. Oh, bullshit. As of close of business Thursday 16th, the event hirers were unable to provide the requested information to meet the venue hire conditions. As such, upon the advice of the Executive Director, Corporate Services, who was responsible for campus safety, and due to an issue of non-compliance, the event organisers have been advised they have forfeited their booking rights for failure to meet conditions of hire. What? Yeah. This is just a political... They're backing out. They are backing out. They don't have the guts to stick with it. The university holds firm on the principles of freedom of expression and maintains its position that it does not wish to set a precedent for exclusion of objectionable views from the campus. See, you're already poisoning the well. You're saying the views are objectionable. You're meant to be impartial. The university is meant to be impartial. Well, maybe that's just my naivete coming through there, expecting political impartiality from these organizations. Well, no, the ideologues have gotten too far embedded in these places. They can't get real jobs, so they just come here pushing paperwork around. Oh. The university acknowledges the deeply held view of many people in the community that this event has raised. The broader issue of the role of universities in providing a place for uncensored and robust discussion and debate on many issues in society today, and we continue to make forward in this debate. Yeah, no, you're not. Universities are obviously no longer capable to provide that. It's now online. And YouTube is getting deplatforming people. The big corporations are deplatforming people. It's moving to a peer-to-peer model. You know, hopefully Trump, hopefully UKIP will push for an online Bill of Rights and things will happen. But yeah. So now onto the Transfolk website, they put the email here that they got from Professor Dawn Freshwater. Now let's have a look at Professor Freshwater, the Dean of University of Western Australia. One sec, I'm shutting this. I've got children screaming. So she has 153 citations here, and this is her research output. And I thought, oh, is that all her citation? Oh, that must be one of her recent publications. And no, let's have a look here. You can see, hang on, let me just get this in here. You can see here, 1 citation, 2 citations, 2 citations, 31 citations. So she's a nurse who's now a researcher and the Vice Chancellor of the university. And let's just have a look at a recent episode I did of other people looking at Jordan Peterson and comparing his citations with Ken Ham, Ray Comfort, and Kent, the dodgiest of all of them. Ken Ham, one of his most popular publications, 94 citations. Just 1. Peterson, his more popular one, has 917 citations. So that's why when I saw 153, I thought it was just for one citation. So anyway, you know, maybe would it be unfair of me to judge the caliber of the organization that is banning free speech based on the research potential of one of their leaders? Would that be an unfair assumption for me to make? You tell me. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? You know, Professor Dawn Freshwater, I think your university doesn't stand for free speech. It's acted quite cowardly, quite embarrassingly for your organization, and quite shamefully. Really? You had an opportunity here to engage with this group, even if you find them objectionable, on a robust level, to have a debate in public. You could have added to the dialogue. Instead, you essentially deplatformed them, did the bullshit 1 day's notice to get all this stuff to them, and kind of blew it out of the water. So yeah, no respect for your university, I'm afraid. Guys, thank you for joining me for this episode of Heiser Says. I will see you all again next time. Please like, share, and subscribe. And please let me know if your universities or your organizations don't allow this freedom of speech. It's just happening everywhere. I'm tempted to make a map of it. Maybe I will.